When you're forced to sell one of your own players for financial reasons, the pain is immense. But when that same player becomes one of the biggest sensations in the Premier League and suddenly a chance arises to bring him back, well, then the story changes completely. And that's exactly what's happening with Elliot Anderson. The midfielder who left St. James's Park less than 2 years ago for mere PSR reasons is now valued at stratospheric figures. And while Manchester United and Manchester City are knocking on Nottingham Forest's door with multi-million-pound offers, information has leaked that could completely change the game. Anderson prefers to go back home, to Newcastle. Now, before we start dreaming about Geordie returning to wear the black and white stripes, we need to understand the magnitude of the dispute that is forming here. Because we're not talking about just any player. We're talking about someone who is literally dominating the Premier League statistics right now. Touches, first place among all midfielders. Completed passes, first. Progressive passes, first. The list just keeps going. And all this while playing for a Forest team that spent a good part of the season fighting against relegation. Let that sink in for a second. The kid is producing absolutely elite numbers in a team that is fighting to avoid relegation, facing double marking week after week without the luxury of playing alongside established stars. Now imagine what he can do surrounded by real talent. But here's the part that makes it even more interesting. Chris Waddle, a legend of both Newcastle and the English national team, went straight to the point when asked about Anderson's future. And what he said should make any United or City fan think twice before counting on this transfer. Elliot Anderson is a Newcastle fan. He's a true Geordie. The kid grew up dreaming of playing at St. James's Park, not Old Trafford or the Etihad. His maternal grandfather, Jeff Allen, played for Newcastle between 1964 and 1968. This isn't just football, it's family history, it's DNA. Waddle made it clear that he believes the chance to return to Newcastle might simply be too good for Anderson to refuse. And when you stop to think about how he left, sold hastily to comply with financial regulations, without even having a real chance to establish himself in the team he always loved, it makes perfect sense. The sale was traumatic. Anderson himself admitted that he didn't see it coming. He was on vacation when he received the call saying he could be sold. Days later, he was signing with Forest, without a proper farewell, without the chance to show his true worth in the shirt he always wanted to wear. But here's the crucial point that can't be overlooked. Newcastle didn't include any buyback clause in the agreement, no right of first refusal, nothing that gives them an advantage over United or City in this dispute. It was a colossal mistake, a failure that could cost them dearly now. Because let's be realistic here. Manchester United is desperate for a midfield overhaul. Casemiro has already confirmed his departure. Ugarte may leave too. They need fresh blood, and Anderson is at the top of their wish list, along with Sandro Tonali and Carlos Baleba from Brighton. And Manchester City? Well, when City wants someone, they usually get them. Reports indicate they are preparing a £70 million offer, 70 million, for a kid Newcastle sold for 35 less than 2 years ago. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? But here's where things get truly fascinating, because there's a very real scenario unfolding in the background that could change absolutely everything. Sandro Tonali, the Italian midfielder Newcastle brought in for astronomical sums, is being heavily courted by Manchester United. If Tonali leaves, Newcastle suddenly has a huge midfield gap, and more importantly, the money to compete head-to-head with the Manchester Giants for Anderson. And then we come back to that detail Waddle mentioned. Anderson is a Newcastle fan. He has publicly stated that he loved working with Eddie Howe. He's established himself as an England international now, heading to the World Cup this summer. But his heart? His heart never left Tyneside. The question is whether Newcastle will have the courage to really get into this fight, because it's one thing for Eddie Howe to say in an interview that he'd love to have Anderson back. It's quite another to compete financially with two of the richest clubs in England.